Greetings. We are talking about the numbers of the Israeli nation and the promise that the Lord made to Abraham in many verses, not one or two verses, many verses. We covered this in the 18 videos before the last one. Now, let us see why they were always few in number. We said Pharaoh used to kill their children. Also, the promise of the Lord that the beast will take their children and they will become very few in number. Now, let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 14, verse 21. Now, what's the occasion here? What's the situation? When they reached the land of Canaan, Palestine, the Holy Land, right at the borders, Moses said, let's go inside. They said, no. Those Palestinians are giant warriors, strong warriors. You go with your Lord and fight them first. We will sit here, wait for you, vacate the land, and then we will enter. The Lord promised that they will not see it. So what happened? Let's read this from the book. Otherwise you'll think I'm making up stuff. Again, Numbers 14, verse 21. Nevertheless, this is the Lord speaking about this defiance from the Israelis on this occasion. As surely as I live, and He is everlasting. He lives. He is immortal. As surely as I live, and as surely as the glory of the Lord fills the whole earth. The Lord is speaking here. God is speaking. Not one of those who saw my glory and the signs I performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, but who disobeyed me and tested me 10 times, tested the Lord in defiance, in the desert. Not one of them. We said 500,000, right? Came out of slavery, 500,000, 600,000, whatever you want. The Lord said, not one of them will ever see the land I promised, on oath to their ancestors. Now please focus. No one who has treated me with contempt will ever see it. See the Holy Land. You understand? So, it doesn't matter how many thousands, hundreds of thousands left of Egypt, all those thousands, the Lord is going to send them back for 40 years in the desert until all that evil generation dies. This is what the book says. Evil generation. Until all of them die. And here, not even one will enter the promised land. Except very few. Later on, the Lord, accept and allow them. Very well, if let's confirm this fact. And let's read, let's go to the book of Joshua. This time. Joshua chapter 5. Listen to this. The Lord said not even one of them will enter the promised land. Chapter 5, Joshua 5, verse 4 says, now this is why He did so. All those who came out of Egypt, all the men of military age died in the wilderness on the way after leaving Egypt. This is what the Lord promised. All of them died. Then who survived? Their children, who did not offend the Lord, did not look at the Lord with contempt. They always despised the Lord. Always. Miserable. Stupid. Very well. So we see now the promise of the Lord and what Joshua said. After they left, all of them died. All that generation. But their children continued until they reached Canaan, the land of the Palestinians, Philistine. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 62. You who were as numerous as the stars in the sky, they were not. They were like 600,000. But, during those days, when you say 600,000, it's a big number. Moses doesn't know, the number of the stars in the heaven. Okay, what about it? You who were as numerous as the stars in the sky will be left but few in number. Deuteronomy 28, 62. Again, he's telling them, you will remain few in number. Again, another prophecy from Moses. Because you did not obey the Lord your God. They were always few in number. Always few in number. And they cannot match what the Lord promised Abraham. Like the dust of the earth. Like the bodies in the heaven. They cannot come even close to match this prophecy and promise. Not even close. However, if you count after Abraham, Ishmael, the firstborn, for 14 years, Ishmael was the only born, the firstborn and the only born son to Abraham. We discussed this in the previous videos. Go and review it if you don't know it. Now, from Ishmael time, from his children, the children of the children, until today is 2 billions. But how many billions since 4,000, 5,000 years back? How many billions? Countless. While through all those years, the Israeli nation was chopped, 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 chopped. Always. Let's look at more examples next time. And see that, they were always few. And then either the Lord spoke the truth, if we are talking Ishmael, and he gave Abraham a great nation in number and status through Ishmael, his firstborn son, or we say he was lying if we are talking about Isaac, that never met the promise. Never was like the dust of the earth or the bodies in the heaven or a great nation. Take care.